Hello parents, my name is Charles Fellini and I teach 901, 902, and 903 English. A little bit about me. I studied theater and English and music at Acadia, and I got my education degree at St. Thomas. I've taught for about 18 years, split between grammar school, Sacred Heart, Halifax Independent, Park West School, and the last few years I've been here at Rocky Lake. A little bit about the English program. There are three main strands of the curriculum that run right through all the grades. One of them is reading and viewing. And the focus to start this year for us is going to be on independent reading. So trying to get students in the habit of reading a bit, trying to get them to see reading as pleasurable, that they hopefully will be able to find a type of book that they enjoy reading. Later in the fall, we'll get into some basic literary elements, looking at poetry and how to interpret poetry and the kind of metaphorical language of it, possibly looking at a Shakespeare play, short stories, researching, assessing the quality of information sources, that type of thing. That will sort of be later in the year. One big thing that I think families can do, even with teenagers who may not be as keen on reading, is just try to encourage reading despite that. Like whenever you can, maybe read together as a family or have a book out so kids can see adults in their life reading. If possible, try to replace screens with books at the end of the day, maybe that last half hour before bedtime. That can be really good to just, if you can, pry the cell phone out of the child's hand and, maybe try to get a book on the go. That can be a really good way to kind of get to sleep and get a little reading in. If you're looking for gifts of books, it's really good to visit a library and talk to the children and teen librarian, because they will know all of the recent releases and what would work the best for your son or daughter based on what they like to read or what they're interested in. The second strand, writing and representing. So writing for different real world purposes, developing a writing process where you take it through from rough draft to a better and better copy, traits of effective writing, how to write with a strong sense of sentence structure, avoiding plagiarism. There'll be a moderate amount of writing assignments, and there'll be often time in class to start on these, but often also time at home will be needed for these as well. It's great to show an interest in your child's writing assignments, and it's perfectly fine to offer some suggestions for revision or to proofread through. Professional writers always rely heavily on an editor, so it doesn't have to be a solitary pursuit for students either. Just make sure the actual content and the topic choices from the student, but certainly helping them brainstorm or giving them guidance about adding details or rearranging things to make things more clear is all good. And the third strand is speaking and listening. So discussions. There's a type of discussion we'll try called a Socratic circle, where students form an inner circle of 6 or 7 people and discuss, while the other students are on the outer circle, sort of just listening and observing. Late in the year, once we've done a lot of very civilized, calm discussions, we'll also do a little bit of debate, where it's a little bit more of a confrontational style of communication. Some students are painfully shy about speaking in front of their classmates, but do need to push themselves to do it anyways. It is part of the curriculum. It's an important life skill. And it's sort of, we need everybody to be involved. If we start having a few students who are always excused from taking part, it tends to kind of spread, and so that becomes tricky to run a discussion if we can't get people involved. I know I was very shy until I took a drama course in high school, and I really benefited from getting out of my comfort zone a bit in a class setting. So I think it's really valuable. Couple of little details. When you're sending me email, I'm fine with just going by my first name. And speaking of email, when students are late or missing assignments, as much as possible, I try to email the student to let them know I'm looking for it, and I tend to copy in the parents. And it's sort of up to you. Like, I know at grade 9, it can be good to try to get them a bit more independent, but you may also want to be kind of kept updated through these, being copied in on these emails on what's going on, so that there's not as much of a surprise at report card time if the mark is a little lower than people were expecting. Final note, I also am running, along with Ms. Chater, we are running a drama club this year, which will probably have a series of theater games at the beginning, the first couple sessions, and leading into getting into a play and a performance for later in the year. So I'm also involved in that. Certainly, if you have any concerns, best way to get a hold of me is email. I might not always get back to you right within 24 hours, but I do check my email, and as soon as I can, I tend to get back to people about your concern. Thanks a lot. Good to meet you all.